Suddenly, royal titles are only reserved for Meghan and Harry's children. Why are people saying terrible things about Meghan Markle? How many people are speaking up for them, and what is the outcome? We're going to update and analyze everything right here, right now. Welcome back. We are Kate Middleton and the Queen YouTube channel. So as you know, the invisible children are technically eligible for Prince and Princess titles now that their grandfather Charles is king. So in order to be called Prince or Princess, you need to be the child of the current monarch or the grandchild of the current monarch. Harry's invisible children, of course, were not eligible when they were born because they were technically the great-grandchildren of the current monarch, the late Queen. Since William, though, is the heir to the throne, the Queen did make a special exception, and she decided that all of William's children were Prince and Princess when they were born. Otherwise, only Prince George would have been eligible for receiving that title. And Harry knew all about this a long time before he ever even considered having children. Maybe he should have done a better job explaining this, though, to Meghan Markle. I mean, the whole Meghan deal was all over their children not getting titles. And that's because Meghan really thought that their children should be treated as equals to William's children. The Queen, of course, refused to make a special patent for them, and they pitched a fit. They threatened her, and then they ran away, believing that the royal family would beg them to come back or give the kids titles in negotiation. Titles, by the way, that Harry said he didn't even want them to have because his title ruined his whole life. So this is all about Meghan. She even, during the Oprah Winfrey interview, she even told Oprah that it wasn't fair that one set of grandchildren had titles and another set did not. And she even tried to claim that it made the difference in him being protected or not, and she knew that was wrong. But see, she wanted everybody to feel sorry for her. Anybody who knows anything at all about the monarchy or the royal family knew that Meghan Markle was just pitching a fit for no reason. She didn't want to have to wait for Charles to be king. As soon as the kids got titles, she was ready to return like nothing ever happened, but they took things way too far. It is such a mess, though, that didn't need to happen. If she had just been a little more patient, then things would have been okay, but as we have noticed, Meghan is used to getting things her way when she wants them. And I believe the late Queen is the only person who ever truly stood up to her and told her no. Now, correct me if I'm wrong here, but I also thought the special patent that Queen Elizabeth did for William's kids was male primogeniture. I mean, I thought that with Charlotte being born second, she would get to keep her place in the line of succession instead of being listed after any future sons like Princess Anne is. It makes a lot of sense, right? But everything else about this whole Harry and Meghan debacle is just the two of them acting like a couple of toddlers. While Catherine was pregnant with George, or perhaps a little bit before that, the law was changed by Parliament, not even the Queen, to abolish primogeniture, making their first child, regardless of whether the first child was male or female, be the third in line to the throne. The letters patent issued by George VI did not grant titles to the monarch's great-grandchildren except for the first son of the Prince of Wales. Now, if the Queen had not altered the letters patent, then it would have resulted in a firstborn girl being heir to the throne but not entitled to the title princess at birth. But her younger brother would be titled prince at birth. So to Queen Elizabeth, of course, this was not acceptable. It was unequal. So she changed the rules to make all of William's kids prince or princess regardless of their sex. But also, as for Harry's kids, as children of a duke, they did have titles. Archie could have used his father's subsidiary title, Earl of Dumbarton, and Lilibet could have been styled as Lady Lilibet. So at the time of the interview, number one, the kids were already styled as Master and Miss on the royal family website, and number two, Meghan was complaining about her kids not having titles, but number three, the kids in fact did have titles. And also, isn't that how Prince Edward and the Duchess of Edinburgh's children are styled? The older one is Lady Louise, and then the boy James is an Earl. And I thought that Meghan didn't want Archie to be the Earl of Dumbarton because she thought that it was bad since it had the word dumb in it. But I guess she doesn't have a problem with Sussex having sex in it. Meghan was just totally ignorant regarding royal protocol and line of succession, and inheritance too, but she refused the help that she was offered, and then she basically just confirmed it by publicly claiming that Harry would teach her anything that she really needed to know. Meghan, obviously Harry's little lessons were not enough. And so, of course, she made an absolute fool out of herself during the Oprah Winfrey interview. I mean, everybody knew that Harry should have taught her better. Everybody knew that her comments were inaccurate and they were really ridiculous lies. Well, I say everybody knew, but apparently many Americans did believe her. So I do wonder if Homeland Security in the US is going to expose Harry's visa application. Did he lie on it? Did he mark no when it asked if it ever used illegal drugs? So, if Harry really denied using drugs on his visa application, if he marked no when they asked if he'd used illegal substances, then the credibility of that ridiculous book Spare claiming that he did becomes an absolute joke, like it's not already. The fact that he made millions selling copies that were full of lies is disgusting. But if Harry checked the yes box, then it doesn't look good for the US government, because that means they gave him the privilege of entering into the US when other people have been denied that privilege for that very reason. So maybe he'll have to leave the US. Honestly, folks, I would love nothing more. I mean, I know that you don't want him back in the UK either, but God, we're sick of him here. But it's ridiculous for Meghan Markle to believe that she is so far above everybody else and that she's above the Queen of England even. I mean, what is wrong with her? It's disturbing that she believes that if she acts like a teenager who pitches a fit, then her dreams are going to come true and will give in to her demands. I mean, really, it's a good thing that they left. And let's think about the royal website too. I mean, I guess in many ways the kids have been demoted or stripped of their titles by removing their profiles totally from the royal website, just because the parents refused to show any proof of their invisible kids. I think the king wanted answers about the children's whereabouts. Their lies are getting out of hand. Meghan and Harry can't handle the lies anymore. You know what they say, it's like a snowball. It just grows and it grows and it grows until it's too big to handle. And they're going to be in a lot of trouble once the truth is exposed. People are closing in on them, and they're not going to be able to deal with it. This is serious business. And okay, so I got to share with you some other recent news. Many people apparently have been standing up demanding justice for Meghan Markle. Oh, I know. My eyes are also rolling right now. And people are asking, why do people say such terrible things about Meghan? Is it just because she's biracial? Or is it because she's buddies with Prince Andrew? Well, folks, let me try to explain and also give some evidence when I answer the following questions. Number 1, why do people say such horrible things about Meghan Markle? Number 2, do people dislike her because of her skin color? Number 3, is it because she's friends with Prince Andrew? Okay, so let's start with question number 3. Who is thinking that she's friends with Prince Andrew? What evidence do we have of that? Neither of them seems to have been recorded as issuing an opinion about the other one. Now, there have been some rumors that they had a mutual friend. Oh, you know the one I'm talking about, Jeffrey Epstein. And he has been associated recently with some very, very immoral activities. So is the person asking this question trying to establish a connection between the 3 people, or are they just trying to impose their own personal beliefs on other people in the form of a question? Next up, question number 2. In Britain, most people don't even care what a person identifies as, what race or whatever. Now, yeah, in America, it is often an issue for people, but that's a problem for Americans to deal with. And I think it says a lot that an American actress, Meghan Markle, used the term Caucasian on her CV so that she could get auditioned, in spite of there being more than enough famous Black American actresses. And now finally, let's address question number 1. Okay, so there have been multiple reports in the media supposedly coming from Meghan, usually through her PR agency of the time, which if true indicates that she has a very odious character indeed. A figure in the public eye usually attracts some hateful comments from people who are jealous of the publicity that they attract. And yeah, I mean, women often get really torn apart by other women. It's true. They'll often criticize the looks, the fashion sense, the hair, whatever. Women in the public eye are often categorized into a few broad bands. So in the beginning, Meghan Markle was an actress, of course. And usually actresses are classified as glamorous faces to publicize their latest project, their film or series or whatever. Or they're just a pretty face and body if they really want to build up their personal fan base. And of course, people have their own opinions and their own views. And people often want to dictate how individuals should react rather than accepting that everybody comes to their own conclusions. And different cultures have also different standards which form a basis for their views. Individuals from that culture are usually free, though, to accept or reject aspects of the overall perspective. But besides the indirect opinions that have been expressed by various commentators, which have a greater or lesser alignment with the actual personal views of the individual in question, there are real TV broadcasts by Meghan herself which have been broadcast all around the world, both the original as aired footage and the edited portions where critiques have been made. And of course, the most famous example has to be that Oprah Winfrey interview, where obviously the viewers can watch Meghan and hear her responses to prompts from Oprah. Now, the stuff that she said in that interview, it's not her being an actress and not her playing a role, supposedly, but we can assume it's what she believes in. According to all the associated information, that is her opinion filtered through a PR agency. But during the interview, the information came straight from the horse's mouth. In a few different examples, what Meghan said was not right, not at the level of misunderstandings, but outright lies. Her target audience seems to be mostly Americans who have their own prejudices, their own issues, but the broadcasts were all around the world, and their veracity can certainly be checked. Her lies were exposed when analyzed by other people who had a greater depth of knowledge about the situation that Meghan Markle was talking about. In Britain, her comments were carefully analyzed, and the lies came out for what they were. Responses were forthcoming in the same tone that Meghan Markle issued her lies. But then people were all upset by the responses, saying the replies were just horrible, not understanding that Meghan Markle herself set the tone. In America, people know about elder abuse. How are people not seeing that's what Meghan did? Because it seems to me like Meghan Markle, a woman in her late 40s, is just allowed to abuse people in their 90s because they have managed a diplomatic role on the global stage for nearly twice as long as Meghan had been living. And it's all because all of a sudden Meghan Markle started claiming that she has black blood in her, which in America, I guess, according to some people, is a pass to just do whatever she wants to do. So in conclusion, of course, there are many people who despise liars, people who lie in public and use those lies to make money for themselves, and smearing the name of innocent people as a result of those lies. When Meghan married Harry, she was basically unknown in the UK. At the time, Harry was really popular, and he was seen as having a secure path in the upper ranks of the royal family, somebody who gave many signs of possibly being very influential in guiding the monarchy into the future. And in the beginning, it seemed like Meghan was on board. And the fact that she failed to meet the standards is unfortunate, but the role that she took on is not an easy role. To use terms of her past profession, she was part of the chorus line, but she decided she had to have the role of the star, and she simply wasn't ready for how complex that role was. Any failure is hard to accept. I understand. But instead of just learning her lesson and moving on, Meghan Markle blamed everybody else for her mistakes, for her failures. And some people saw that for what it was, an attack on other people for her problems, for her flaws. While other people thought that she was fighting the establishment, many people saw the truth. Meghan Markle chose to pick on an establishment that wasn't going to speak up publicly about what really happened. So individuals can use whatever sources of information they want to, whatever sources they consider to be accurate in developing their own viewpoints. Society has not yet descended into the world of 1984, or has it? So anyway, we still have a right to hold our own opinions on social media, and we're allowed to share our opinions with other people. But see, I don't agree with these people who place Meghan Markle in a position of being right and above criticism. It doesn't matter who she attacks. I don't agree with that at all. Other people, of course, have different opinions on the information they have accessed, and thank God for that. Well, folks, that is our analysis of today's main issues. What do you think both about the topic and our analysis? Please leave a comment to let us know. And then remember to give us a like, share, and subscribe to the channel. Thank you for watching all our videos. Goodbye, and I'll be back to see you again soon here at Kate Middleton and the Queen YouTube channel.